So let's give it up for Paul.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Franz. I am the head of technology at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. I don't think Tom and his team really expected what I'm going to be talking about tonight, but a big thanks to them. This is actually only my second time at GeoDC. I have some unusual ideas, so we'll see how it goes. But I want to talk to you all today about, there's a saying in our modern culture right now that there is an attention deficit. People don't pay attention to things. We're not, we have an attention spans of goldfish, right? But I think it goes both ways. And in the think tank sphere, we have an attention getting problem right now. We are not going outside our usual spheres, and we are not getting outside the beltway and explaining our research in ways that everyone can understand. So one of the things that CSIS did about 5 years ago was turn to maps and storytelling with geospatial intelligence. And so this is a picture of Admiral Harry Harris. He was the former the commander of PACOM in the Obama administration. And this is a picture that only can be seen in DC. The irony is there's a lot of irony behind this photo because he is pointing at a photo that we bought from Digital Globe. It is of an island, an artificial island that was built by the Chinese in the South China Sea. Now, the funny thing about this is that, of course, Admiral Harris had access to this intelligence and this photography, but because it was classified, he couldn't actually show what the military was showing him. So he took CSIS's images. And what CSIS did, as you can see here if you look closely, is that we annotated it. We said, okay, here's where the airstrip is, here's where the military barracks are, and so on. And so we learned a really good lesson from this. It got us a lot of visibility. It put this issue front and center. It forced the administration at the time, the Obama administration, to reckon with this publicly. And so we struck a gold mine. We like storytelling with maps. And so since then, in this past 5 years, we've used maps as augments to our written research. We're using these interactive tools, ways to visualize the information that we are talking about that isn't in 100-page PDF. And so they are accompaniments, they are tools, they are dashboards, they are also part of scrollytelling, rich media experiences that we're producing at CSIS. And we had an interesting inflection point at the end of last year. We said, well, how can we make this better? How can we keep pushing the envelope forward technologically and creatively? So Max and I kind of figured out a solution here to play this video with sound. And at the count of 1, Max, can you just hit play?
Sure.
All right. Hopefully this works. All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Kip.
It worked.
So the Shotgun Mall base was a base that there's not a lot known about in the public domain. Of course, the intelligence community knows about this. It's a base that's very close to the border between North and South Korea and is an operational missile base. North Korea has a whole bunch of missile bases that they have had for some time that are operational, but they've never disclosed these things, even though under UN Security Council resolutions they are required to abandon all of these bases. These are arrayed along the peninsula and pose real operational threats to U.S. forces in Korea and Japan. What we tried to do with this report was to, one, give the best open source, unclassified imagery analysis of this base that exists today. You can't negotiate denuclearization with a country that doesn't admit having the things that you want them to get rid of. Reports like this, again, I think inform the public policy debate and the media so that when they write and talk about this negotiation, they're doing it in a way that is well-informed and that really tries to address the question of what true denuclearization is on the Korean Peninsula.
So we did a pretty good job there. Hopefully you ignored the desync with his lips, but hopefully you got the point. Pretty slick, right? So I'm going to shock some of you, especially the engineers in this audience, developers. Not a single line of code was written in this. We didn't use any stacks, we didn't use any libraries. There were 3 components used with this. There was Mapbox Studio, Adobe After Effects, and an extension with After Effects called GeoLayers. And what GeoLayers was able to do was take in the custom geodata and draw it as vector layers in After Effects. So this was entirely created within a video editor's workflow. And so there are a number of advantages to doing this as a video. It tells a story. Now, we're avoiding one of the things that I think a lot of think tanks fall into the trap of doing, which is creating dashboard help. Which is, let's just give a user all the possible options and all the different permutations of things, expecting that they're going to know exactly the same level of knowledge that you do about this issue. And so this tells a narrative. It sells the story. The other thing is, in the nonprofit world, developers come at a premium. They're not cheap, and we don't have a whole lot of that talent to go by. So, as a video editor, unfortunately, it comes at a bit of a cheaper price. And also, we don't have to worry about graceful degradation. I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, a DoD or a government agency say, I can't load your website. I'll tell you a really funny story. 5 years ago, when we first launched a project, it was a microsite about Asia maritime transparency issues, the legal and political disputes in the Asian littoral, we were invited to do a presentation at the EEOB. And I crossed all my T's, dotted all my I's, and I said, we got SSL on this, 2-factor authentication. There's no way the Chinese are going to hack this site. It's perfectly secure. And my liaison at the EEOB said this. This was his first question to me. Can you put the website on a CD? No, this is a real question the federal government has, and we've had this problem before, that all these fancy interactives and development tools that we create, they can't use them. Another really nice benefit of it was, of course, this. The president himself tweeted about this story, only the fake news. That was a nice feather on our cap. So as we go forward, we've got some more exciting issues that we're going to be covering this year using this technology. We've got, next up, Russian bases in the Arctic. We're talking about land engagements between Chinese and Indian military forces in Bhutan, and many others. But we're really excited to really break new ground on this and tell more great stories, compelling stories that are going to get attention, and they're not going to languish on a congressperson's desk, and hopefully influence positive policy impact. But I know some of the developers and certainly the researchers in here probably want to murder me right now, but I want to end this on a positive note and just say this is my 7-month-old daughter. So hopefully you'll change your mind and you'll be open to discussion and questions and further exploration. Thank you very much.
Give it up for Paul. We have time for one question. So are there any questions? Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Do you want?
So you mentioned the vignette with the commander saying that it was a classified picture you got from whatever. How did you, and what methods are you getting that classified information? So are you using automated processes to identify those type of things? Like if you're going to go into the Russian area, what are you going to do? How are you getting that?
That's a great question. So that image is actually, we bought that from Digital Globe. We knew this was happening through different sources, that these bases existed, there were reefs and atolls in the South China Sea that we knew that they were sending ships out to and dredging up sand to build helipads and runways and things like that.
Okay. So
we're not quite at the stage of like AI or ML yet with that kind of thing.
Okay, fair enough. So you're not going and finding classified information and declassifying it in your own manner?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what we did.
Okay.
You're talking past each other.
Yeah, I think we are, but we can talk after.
Very good presentation.
Thank you.
Awesome.